Good evening, students. Welcome you to this live session. This is for 11th standard students. This is our second live class, right? Yesterday's class, many students attended. So yesterday we have discussed matrices and determinants, right? So we are selecting the topics which are useful for your 12th standard. 12th standard la nalla mark vaangradhukku 11th standard la neenga ennalam therinjirukkom. That is the main aim, right? And this channel is meant for that, to give you free at the same time quality content. Okay. So today's class we are going to see vector algebra, and some of you maybe joined today the first class. So you subscribe our YouTube channel and join our Telegram link. Link is given, the group you join, so that you will get the PDF, free handwritten notes also you'll be getting. Okay. So vector algebra here is a very simple topic. So application of vector algebra, it is in 12th standard. So you need the vector, the basic results, the 11th standard, the concepts, 12th standard will be easy for you. Not only that, in physics also you are using that, right? And there may be some pure science students for physics, for NEET examination also, some of the things will be useful to you. Okay. So vector algebra here, what I'm going to teach today, the basics of vector, difference between vectors and scalar, what are the different types of vectors, then some of the properties, then mainly the two product, right? Product of two vectors, scalar product and vector product. When you go for 12th standard, there we are going to study how to multiply 3 vectors, how to multiply 4 vectors and all, right? So this basic is very, very important. So first, what is the difference between vectors and scalars, right? So you know, scalars, it has only magnitude, but vectors has both magnitude and direction. Distinguish scalars and vectors. So you know, examples also length, mass, time. Idellame scalar, and displacement, velocity, acceleration, force, moment, all these are what? Vector quantities, right? Then how to represent a vector? It is a line segment with direction. Line segment na adukku magnitude mattum da irukumla, adoru direction um kuduthittingana it become a vector. So vector nam ippadi define pannalam, directed line segment, இந்த பாயிண்ட்ல இருந்து இந்த வரைக்கும் the direction a to b or b to a, right? So there is an initial point and there is a terminal point. If you see this example, a to b, ab vector, a is called the initial point and b is called the terminal point. Suppose the distance between a and b is a unit, then you can say this ab vector is equal to a vector. ab vector is equal to a vector, you can say. So representation of vector, so you know how to represent a vector, and ab vector and ba vector, they are not same. A to b and b to a, the distance same, but direction just opposite, right? So you have to change the sign. So ab vector is equal to minus ba vector. So if you see somewhere minus qp vector, you can say minus qp vector is same as what? Plus sign a change பண்ணிட்டு letters reverse பண்ணிருங்க. You can write it as what? pq vector. Okay. So already said vector நாலே அதுக்கு ஒரு initial point and terminal point இருக்கும்ல. Co-initial vectors. So some vectors, if they have the same initial point, ஒரே இடத்துல இருந்து அப்படி மூவ் ஆகி போடும். Initial point same ஆ இருக்குது, terminal point differ. Okay, so if the vectors moves like this, same initial point, so that we call it as co-initial vector. Co-initial vector. Co-initial vector இருந்தா definitely இன்னொன்று என்ன இருக்கும்? Co-terminal vector. எங்க இருந்தா அது வந்து ஜாயின் ஆயிரும் ஒரே இடத்துல இல்ல, terminal point is same. Okay, so that we call it as what? Co-terminal vector. Vector na உங்களுக்கு தெரியும், it has both magnitude and direction. அப்போ equal vector, when can you say two vectors are equal? They are equal in both magnitude and direction. Magnitude same இருக்கணும், direction same இருக்கணும். Vector na என்னது? It has both magnitude and direction. So equal vectors. Collinear points la சொல்லுவோம்ல, points la collinear என்ன சொல்லுவோம்? The points lie in the same line, we call it say collinear. Vector la collinear na, they lie in the same line or even parallel. ரெண்டு வெக்டர் கொலினியர்னு சொல்லணும்னா they lie in a same line or they are parallel. ஒரு லைனுக்கு parallel கூட வரலாம். ஃபர்ஸ்ட் கேஸ் போல் ரெண்டு ஒரே லைன்ல வரலாம். a vector b vector, they are in a same line, or it can be like this also, a vector and b vector are parallel. That also we say what? Collinear only. Okay, but the proof பண்ணனும்னா, if you have a diagram, by seeing that you can say, right? But some vector I j k எல்லாம் கொடுத்தாங்கன்னா A vector and B vector are collinear means one vector is a scalar multiple of another vector. That will be important points. Okay, one vector is some scalar multiple of another vector. A vector is equal to 5 into B vector, or A vector is equal to 2 by 3 into B vector. Then we say A and B are what? Collinear. To appo collinear nu prove பண்றதுக்கு one vector is a scalar multiple of another vector. Definition என்னது collinear? Vectors lie in a same line or even parallel. அதுபோல coplanar. Collinear we talk about line. Coplanar, plane. There, okay, the name le irukla, collinear line. Coplanar, they lie in the same plane. So minimum 3 vectors varno. 3 vectors are said to be coplanar if they lie in the same plane or parallel. ரெண்டு லைன் ஒரு பிளேன்ல இருக்குது, இன்னொன்று அதுக்கு parallel இருக்குது. Again we say they are what? Coplanar. Coplanar vectors, now the vectors lie in the same plane. In the first case all the three are in the same plane, right? The second case, A vector, B vector are in one plane, C vector is parallel to that plane. Again we say they are what? Coplanar. That's prove பண்றதுக்கு ஒரு method. இது definition. To prove collinear என்ன சொன்னோம்? The lines are parallel or they lie in the same line or parallel, they are collinear. But to prove one vector is a scalar multiple of another vector. Coplanarல 3 vectors இருக்கும். அதை எப்படி prove பண்றதுனா, one vector is a linear combination of other 2 vectors. See, what is the meaning of linear combination? Suppose we have 3 vectors, A vector, B vector, C vector. One vector is A vector is linear combination of other 2. அப்படினா meaning என்னன்னா, you take 2 scalars, say L and M. L into B vector, that is a scalar multiplication, right? L into B vector is scalar multiplication. M into C vector, another scalar multiplication. And then add pannunga, you will get an expression. Idha we call it as linear combination. Appo 3 vectors are coplanar na, one vector is a linear combination of other 2 vectors. Then we say the vectors are coplanar. Okay, appo collinear, coplanar. Sums easy irukum. Collinear na one vector is a scalar multiple of another vector. Coplanar na one vector is a linear combination of other 2 vectors. Okay, that is coplanar. Now listen, different types of vectors. Zero vector. Zero vector na enadhu? If the magnitude is 0, we call it as what? Zero vector. If the magnitude of a vector is 0, then that vector we call it as zero vector. Magnitude 0. See, initial point irukku, terminal point irukku, idu A, idu B. இப்போ there is some length is there, right? Suppose now the magnitude may be 5. இப்போ அந்த B-யை நீங்கள் கொஞ்சம் இந்த பக்கம் கொண்டு வந்துட்டீங்கன்னா, இப்போ 5 reduced to 3, இங்கே வந்துட்டுனா இன்னும் reduce ஆகிட்டு, but magnitude must be 0. அப்படின்னா the B must coincide with what? A. Initial and terminal points coincide. Okay. And suppose initial and terminal ரெண்டுமே சேமாக இருக்கும். A vector, B vector, and generally we denote it as what? Zero vector. Okay, so that's zero vector. Then the next one what we have to study is unit vector. Zero vector na ungalku theriyum. Zero vector means the magnitude is 0, right? Unit vector means the magnitude is 1. Illa 3 points you have to remember. Unit vector, if the magnitude is 1, that we call it as unit vector. Unit vector along A vector is denoted as A cap. The A cap symbol vandale the unit vector da. And the A cap ungradhu, it is a unit vector along A vector. A cap oda formula A vector by modulus A vector. A cap is equal to A vector by modulus A vector. So this is the second point. For unit vector 3 points you have to remember. First one, magnitude is 1. Second one, unit vector along A vector is given by A cap, the formula A vector by modulus A vector. And you know there are 3 axes. X axis, Y axis and Z axis, they are all mutually perpendicular. ஒன்றுக்கு perpendicular இருக்கும். X axis ல வரக்கூடிய unit vector I vector, Y axis ல வரக்கூடிய unit vector J vector, and the unit vector along Z axis is what? K vector. Okay, so these are the 3 points you have to remember for unit vector. அப்போ unit vector நாலே magnitude is what? 1. What is the magnitude of I vector? I vector is a unit vector, right? Unit vector along X axis. So அதோட magnitude 1 ன்னு சொல்லிடுறோம், right? Then like vectors, unlike vectors. Physicsல படிச்சிருப்பீங்க. Like parallel forces, unlike parallel forces, ரெண்டுமே parallel தான். Like vectorனா ஒரே directionல இருக்கும். Parallel and they are in the same direction. Unlike na parallel தான், but they are in the opposite direction. like vectors angle between them is 0. அந்த ரெண்டையும் அப்படியே join பண்ணீங்கன்னா 0 ஆயிரும். Unlike அந்த ரெண்டு vector join பண்ணீங்கன்னா you will be getting a line like this and angle in a straight line is 180 degree. So if two vectors are like vectors, angle between them 0. If two vectors are unlike vectors, angle between them is 180. அப்போ parallel, suppose question இப்படி கொடுக்குறாங்க, two vectors are parallel, then the angle between them என்ன வரும்? It is either 0 or 180. Because parallel சொன்னா it may be like or unlike. Like வரும்போது 0, unlike வரும்போது 180. Okay, so remember that one. Then how to add vector? Say AB vector is A vector, BC vector is B vector, then and the A and C in join பண்ணீங்கன்னா that gives what? A vector plus B vector. Okay, so here just to remember, suppose A to B, AB vector plus BC vector. And the continuity இருந்தா போதும், A to B then B to C. The B இது ரெண்டு சேமா இருக்குல்ல, அப்போ overall it is A to C. So you can write it as what? AC vector. Scalar multiplication of vector, ஒரு scalar ஒரு vector just multiply பண்றோம். So that's a very simple thing. Position vector. So every point is related to some vector with respect to the origin. இப்போ 3 dimension சொல்லும்போது அதில் 3 points வரும்ல, x coordinate, y coordinate and z coordinate. Suppose P is a point x, y, z. X coordinate is x, y coordinate is y, z coordinate. X coordinate, the x axis வரக்கூடிய யூனிட் வெக்டர் I vector, y ல j, z ல k. அப்போ பொசிஷன் வெக்டர்ங்கிறது OP வெக்டர், xi வெக்டர் plus yj வெக்டர் plus zk வெக்டர். Suppose A is a point 2, 3, minus 1. அப்போ A ஓட பொசிஷன் வெக்டர் OA வெக்டர், P position vector OP vector, B position vector OB vector, right? So A is a point 2, 3, minus 1. So அதோட position vector OA vector is 2i vector plus 3j vector minus 1 into k vector. Your B is a point 7, 0, minus 2. Y coordinate is 0. அப்போ நம்ம எழுதக்கூடாது, j term is not there, right? 7i vector minus 2k vector. Okay, so that's all the basics about this one. Then just I'm going to give you, so how much you understood? I'm giving a question. 0 vector has, I'm giving 4 options. I want you to give your answer in the chat section. 0 vector has, first option no magnitude, second one no direction, third one no magnitude and no direction, and the fourth one none of the above. So there are 4 options. So you give your answer, it is A, B, C or D. 0 vector has. Yes, you can give your answer quickly. Zero vector has no magnitude, no direction, no magnitude, no direction, and fourth option none of the above. Yes, I got one student, Jesse, none of the above. What about other students? Yes? Good. Because you know, 0 vector, it is a vector, right? It is a vector. So what is vector? It has both magnitude and direction. So you cannot say it has no magnitude, you can't say it has no direction, you can't say it has no magnitude, no direction. It has magnitude, it has direction, right? Magnitude is 0, that's all. So here the correct answer is what? None of the above. Very good. Now, section formula in 10th standard coordinate geometry study, right? Same thing here also. A and B are 2 points. A position vector A vector, B position vector B vector. P is a point, it divides in the ratio m is 10 internally. Then position vector of P is m into B vector. When you take m, you go to the other end. Exactly the same as in coordinate geometry, x L into x2, m into x1 by L plus m. Same thing here. M into, go to the other end, B vector plus n into A vector divided by m plus n. This is for internal division. For external division, instead of plus, you put minus mb vector minus na vector by m minus n. And for midpoint, A vector plus B vector by 2. Okay. So with this idea, so first we are going to do a few questions. Look at this question. A vector and B vector B, the position vectors of the points A and B. Say this is A and this is B. So A position vector A vector, B position vector B vector. Prove that the position vectors of the points which trisects points of trisection 10th la படிச்சிருக்கோம்ல points of trisection ரெண்டு இடத்துல கட் பண்ணா you get three equal parts. I am taking one as p, another one as q. p கண்டுபிடிக்கணும்னா use the ratio 1:2, right? We have to use the ratio 1:2. அப்ப என்ன வரும் சொல்லுங்க? If you see p ங்கற பாயிண்ட் 1 into go to the other end b vector 1 into b vector plus 2 into come to this end 2a vector by 1 plus 2 it is 3, right? So b plus 2a by 3, that is 1 point. Another point, to find q use the ratio 2:1, right? To find q use the ratio 2:1. p கண்டுபிடிக்கிறதுக்கு 1:2. Now 2:1. So 2b vector plus 1 into a vector by 2 plus 1 3. இது ஆர்டர்ல எழுதுனீங்கன்னா a plus 2b by 3. Yes, that is the next one, right? It's a very simple question only. Now look another question. Numerical sums are very simple sums. Look at this one. If D is the midpoint of the side BC of triangle ABC. See, one triangle is given. This is a triangle. ABC is this triangle. We name this one. ABC is a triangle. Listen carefully. D is the midpoint of BC. D is the midpoint of BC. Of triangle ABC. Prove that AB vector plus AC vector equal to 2AD vector. Please listen very carefully. The vector when you draw diagram, the direction is important. Biology la neenga diagram potu the parts alla mark pannala, there is no mark, right? No meaning. So same way here in vector in the diagram you have to draw the directions because vector nale directed line segment, right? இதில் எப்படி டைரக்ஷன் கொடுக்கிறது? நோ நீட் டு மக் அப் எனிதிங். see the கொஸ்டினை பார்த்து அப்படியே டைரக்ஷன் கொடுங்க. ஃபர்ஸ்ட் we have AB வெக்டர், அப்போ A to B ஒன் டைரக்ஷன். அடுத்து AC வெக்டர், ஏலேருந்து சிக்கு ஒரு டைரக்ஷன். தென் ஒன் மோர் 2 times AD, அப்போ ஏலேருந்து டிக்கு. ஸோ we have to draw a line A to D. You draw a line and for that also we give direction AD vector, அப்போ A to D. So this is the direction you have to give here. And what is D? D is the midpoint of BC. அப்படின்னா இந்த ரெண்டு லென்த் சேம். The two distances are what? Same. B to D, D to C. Both distance equal. Let us see the direction. Okay, now listen. To prove this, first I want AB vector. Then we want AC vector. அந்த ரெண்டையும் நீங்கள் ஆட் பண்ணணும். ஆட் பண்ணும்போது what answer you have to get? You have to get 2AD. ஈஸி மெத்தட் என்னன்னா யூ ஃபைண்ட் ஏபி வெக்டர். ஏபி வெக்டர் எப்படி கண்டுபிடிக்கணும்? ஏல ஸ்டார்ட் பண்ணும், பியில் ரீச் ஆகணும். யூ கேன் கோ லைக் திஸ் ஆல்சோ. ஏசி ப்ளஸ் சிபின்னு போகலாம், இல்லைனா ஏடி ப்ளஸ் டிபின்னு போகலாம், ரைட்? தேர் ஆர் 2 ways. பட் வாட் வி நீட்? ஆன்சரில் என்ன வேணும்? ஏடி வேணும். ஸோ யூஸ் த பாத் ஏடி வழியாக போகணும். ஸோ ஏபி வெக்டரை ஏ டு பி. டு ஃபைண்ட் ஏ டு பி, ஏடி ப்ளஸ் டிபி. ஏடி வெக்டர் ப்ளஸ் dB vector. Same way you find AC vector, A and C. AC vector AD plus DB ன்னு எழுதுறோம். AD plus DB. AD vector plus DB vector. Because in the answer we want 2AD. So we select the path AD, right? இந்த ரெண்டு இப்போ ஆட் பண்ணுங்க. So AB vector plus AC vector is equal to, column wise ஆட் பண்ணிங்கன்னா AD vector plus AD vector is 2AD vector plus DB vector plus next one is what? DC vector, right? AC vector is AD plus DC. AD plus DC. Okay, DB vector plus DC vector. But the answer is only 2AD. 2AD மட்டும் வரணும்னா இந்த this part we don't want. That means you have to put 0, right? Simply you can't write 0. I am writing 0, but let us see how. So you are getting the answer 2AD. For the examination it's okay, right? But see why it is 0? DB vector. DB vector na D and B. DB vector. DC vector na D and C. The other direction. One is in this direction, another one is in the opposite direction. Just opposite direction. Magnitude same, but opposite direction. One plus 5 na இன்னொன்று minus 5. So both vanishes. Okay. So that is the reason that part is equal to 0. You are getting 2 AD vector. Okay. The section formula use பண்ணி ஒரு important question இருக்குது. That's a very important 5-mark question. Medians of a triangle are concurrent, right? ஒரு theorem கொடுத்திருப்பாங்க. Medians of a triangle are concurrent. The only thing you have to remember, ratio. The median divides, the centroid divides the median in the ratio of 2:1. நம்ம என்ன assume பண்றோம்? ADங்கிற லைனை G1 அப்படின்னு ஒரு பாயிண்ட் எடுத்துறோம். It divides in the ratio 2:1. Section formula யூஸ் பண்ணி OG1 கண்டுபிடிச்சிருவீங்க. 2 into OD vector. OD னா D is the midpoint of BC. Midpoint formula உங்களுக்கு தெரியும். B vector plus C vector by 2, right? அப்படி OG1 கண்டுபிடிங்க. Section formula யூஸ் பண்ணுங்க. Second BE, second median. BE ல ஒரு point G. We take it as G2. It divides in the ratio 2:1. Now we find OG2. அப்படி அந்த OG1, OG2, third medianல OG3, all the answers same இருக்கும். Section formula யூஸ் பண்ணும்போது you are getting A vector plus B vector plus C vector by 3. எல்லா பாயிண்ட்டுமே same. We assume there are 3 different points, G1, G2, G3, and later we prove all the 3 are what? Same. So you can say medians of a triangle are concurrent. It's a very simple proof. I'll give this handwritten notes to you. Okay. So you can go through that. It's a very simple thing. Then another very important concept what you need is direction cosine. Direction cosine. Direction ratio. Direction cosine. See what is the meaning of that. Suppose a vector கொடுக்குறாங்க. R vector is xi vector plus yj vector plus zk vector. And the I component j is ijk. அதோட coefficients தான் we can take what direction ratio. So xi vector plus yj vector plus zk vector direction ratios are x, y, z. Then direction cosine na enadhu? See, I'll give the definition first, then I'll tell you how to calculate it. Okay. First, I'll explain what's the meaning of direction cosine. You know there are 3 axes: x-axis, y-axis, and z-axis. See, you take a vector, OP vector. You find the angle made by that vector with x-axis, y-axis, and z-axis. I am taking the angles as alpha, beta, gamma. And the line ku x-axis ku varakudi angle alpha. And the line ku y-axis ku varakudi angle beta. And the line z-axis la make panakudi angle gamma. So alpha, beta, gamma are the angles made by that particular vector with the axis, x-axis, y-axis, z-axis. நம்ம என்ன படிக்கிறோம்? டைரக்ஷன் கொசைன், ரைட்? இப்போ ஆல்ஃபா, பீட்டா, காமா 3 ஆங்கிள் இருக்குல்ல, அதுக்கெல்லாம் காஸ் எடுங்க. காஸ் ஆல்ஃபா, காஸ் பீட்டா, காஸ் காமா. ஸோ தீஸ் ஆர் கால்ட் டைரக்ஷன் கொசைன்ஸ். ஓகே. So what are the direction cosines? Cos alpha, cos beta, cos gamma. And this alpha, beta, gamma are the angles made with what? X-axis, y-axis, and z-axis. Calculation very simple. If they give a vector like this, x by r, y by r, z by r. R is magnitude. How can you find magnitude of a vector? Root of x square plus y square plus z square. See this example. R vector கொடுத்துட்டாங்க 2i plus 3j minus k. To find direction cosine, first you find the magnitude. R equal to root of 2 square 4 plus 3 square 9 plus minus 1 square minus 1 square 1. You are getting root 14. இப்போ direction cosineங்கிறது x by r, y by r, z by r. So that is 2 by root 14, 3 by root 14 and minus 1 by root 14. Okay, so that are the direction. And 2 important results you have to study here. Sum of the squares of direction cosines is unity. Sum of the squares of the direction cosines is unity. Cos square alpha plus cos square beta plus cos square gamma is 1. Remember, even in the higher classes you need this. இதில் உங்களுக்கு எந்த மாதிரி கொஸ்டின் இதில் கேட்கலாம்னா 3 ஆங்கிளை கொடுத்துட்டு கேன் யூ டேக் தீஸ் ஆங்கிள்ஸ் அஸ் டைரக்ஷன் ஆங்கிள்ஸ் எடுக்கலாமா அப்படிங்கிற இந்த கண்டிஷன் இதில் சப்ஸ்டியூட் பண்ணி பார்க்கணும். ஆல்ஃபா, பீட்டா, காமா வேல்யூ சப்ஸ்டியூட் பண்ணி பாருங்க. இஃப் யுவர் ஆன்சர் இஸ் 1 யூ கேன் சே எஸ் தே கேன் பி டேக்கன், ரைட்? காஸ் ஸ்கொயர் ஆல்ஃபா ப்ளஸ் காஸ் ஸ்கொயர் பீட்டா ப்ளஸ் காஸ் ஸ்கொயர் காமா இஸ் 1. இது சம் ஆஃப் த ஸ்கொயர்ஸ் ஆஃப் டைரக்ஷன் கொசைன்ஸ். Can you say sum of the squares of direction sines? இதே இதில் cos square பதில் sin square வந்தால் என்ன ஆன்சர் வரும்னு தெரியுமா? Just you think about this and give your answer in the chat section. My question is, what is sin square alpha plus sin square beta plus sin square gamma? You know, cos square alpha plus cos square beta plus cos square gamma is 1. My question is, what is the value of sin square alpha plus sin square beta plus sin square gamma? So just I'll give 15 seconds. Okay, just give your answer in the chat section. I'm not giving any option here. Cos square, you know, right? So we want sine square. Yes, good. Jani, Shadonshia, yes, your answer is 2. Yes, it is correct. So I'll give the proof also. It's a very simple proof only. All the sine you convert into cos. Sine square alpha can be written as 1 minus cos square alpha, right? Then sine square beta is 1 minus cos square beta. Sine square gamma is 1 minus cos square gamma. So 1 plus 1 plus 1, it is 3. In all the remaining 3, take the minus sign outside. Cos square alpha plus cos square beta plus cos square gamma is 1. So 3 minus 1, it is 2. So remember, sum of the squares of direction cosines is unity 1, and sum of the squares of direction sines is 2. Okay, so both you remember. Okay, now in the second exercise, just I'm going to take few questions. All very simple questions only. Look at this. What we studied now is important. And the concepts allan tharavaayirna, then you can answer any question. Okay, look at this one. Verify whether the ratios are direction cosines of some vector. இதெல்லாம் direction cosines வருமா? அப்போ அவங்க என்ன கொடுத்திருக்காங்கன்னா, அப்போ இது cos alpha, cos square, cos alpha என்ன கொடுத்திருக்காங்க? Cos alpha is equal to 1 by root 2. Cos beta is equal to 1 by 2. Cos gamma is equal to 1 by 2, right? இதான் கொடுத்திருக்காங்க. Verify whether the ratios are direction cosines of some vector. இதெல்லாம் direction cosines of some vector வருமா? அப்படின்னா it must satisfy the condition. What's the condition? Cos square alpha plus cos square beta plus cos square gamma கண்டுபிடிக்கணும். You are supposed to get what? 1. Answer 1 வந்துனா yes, they can be, right? So cos alpha 1 by root 2 square பண்ணீங்கன்னா 1 by 2. Cos beta is 1 by 2, but இங்க நம்ம ஸ்கொயர் பண்ணீங்கன்னா 1 by 4. Cos square gamma also 1 by 4. Add பண்ணீங்கன்னா half plus quarter, your answer is 1. Yes? So your answer is what? Yes, they can be. Look, another question. Find the direction cosines. Find the direction cosines of a vector whose direction ratios. Direction ratios கொடுத்துட்டாங்க. Direction ratios are 3, minus 1, 3. So these are our x, y, z. What we need? Direction cosines. Direction cosine என்ன பண்ணலாம்? x by r, y by r, z by r. அப்போ r மட்டும் கண்டுபிடிக்கணும். rங்கிறது magnitude root of 3 square 9 plus minus 1 square 1 plus 3 square is 9. So you are getting root of 19, right? So direction cosines formula DC. Direction cosines are x by r, y by r and z by r. அது substitute பண்ணுங்க. xங்கிறது 3. 3 by root 19 minus 1 by root 19 and 3 by root 19. Now look at the next question. Find the direction cosines and direction ratios of the vector. Very simple thing. First you can say the direction ratios. Can you give the direction ratios quickly in the chat section? One vector given, you just give the direction ratios alone. Okay. Direction ratios quickly, give the answer. Later you can find direction cosine. Only I want direction ratio. 3i minus 3k plus 4j. Yes, only one answer I got it. Because many students you may think it's such a simple question why sir is asking, right? But you have to be very careful. See, sometimes it happens. See, it is not in correct order, no? First enna kuduthirukanga I, then k is given, right? So be very careful in this one. J is given at the last, okay? Yes, Santosh. So I coefficient is 3, J coefficient is 4 and K coefficient is minus 3. So these are the direction ratios. Okay, we are taking this order, right? I don't share, this is the order you have to take. Because the question, it is not given in the correct order, right? J and K, they interchange. Okay, so be very careful. Now you know R kandupidipinga, then you can say x by r, y by r, z by r. Okay, only for that purpose I given this. Okay, now let's move on to the next question. Find the value of lambda for which the vectors are parallel. Parallel, another name collinear, right? Parallel, or we call it as collinear. Collinear is collinear definition, how to prove also explained. What's the definition of collinear? They lie in a same line or parallel. How can you prove one vector is a scalar multiple of another vector? So, inga coefficients proportional இருக்கும். I coefficient, first I coefficient 3, second I coefficient 1 equal to j coefficient. The first one j coefficient is 2, second one j coefficient is lambda. இவ்வளவுமே போதும். இதுபோல equal to k coefficient எழுதலாம், but we want lambda. So from here itself you can find lambda. Cross multiply 3 lambda is equal to 2, or you say lambda is equal to 2 by 3. Two vectors are parallel, so you can say the coefficients are proportional. Look at this question. Show that the vectors are coplanar. இது 11th standardல ஒரு மெத்தட் கொடுத்திருக்காங்க. 11th standardல கொஞ்சம் லெந்தியான மெத்தட் that already I explained. Coplanar என்னது? They lie in a same plane or parallel, right? How can you prove it? One vector is a linear combination of other two. 11th standardல we do the proof like that, right? இப்போ நம்ம 11th standardல we are not bothered about that mark and all, right? So you can use another method that you are going to study in 12th standard only. The determinant, you write the coefficients. First vector, I, j, k, the coefficients are 2, 3, 1, right? Second one coefficients, 1, minus 1, 0. K is not there, no? 1, minus 1, 0. Third one coefficient, 7, 3, 2. Then you expand பண்ணுங்க. If your answer is 0, you say the vectors are what? Coplanar. ரொம்ப சிம்பிளான method in 12th standard. This is the 12th standard method that we call it as scalar triple product, box product na படிப்பீங்க next yearல. Okay. So sometimes the even for 11th standard common examination also sometimes we see the students use this method. Okay. Any they are coplanar, this is one method. But நம்ம 11th standardல கொடுத்திருக்கிற method, one vector you name them as say A vector, B vector, C vector. One vector is a linear combination of other two, L into B vector plus M into C vector. Substitute பண்ணி அந்த coefficients ல equate பண்ணுவோம். Equate பண்ணும்போது L and M ல you will be getting 3 equations வரும். Equation 1, equation 2, equation 3. You solve any two equation. எனக்கு ரெண்டு unknown தான் L and M, right? For example, if you solve 1 and 2, equation 1 and 2 solve பண்ணி you find L value and M value, அதை கொண்டு போய் third equationல substitute பண்ணி பாருங்க. Third equation substitute பண்ணும்போது அது satisfy ஆச்சுதுன்னா you can say the relation exists, so the vectors are coplanar. Okay, இதில் எல்லா எக்ஸசைஸுமே ஒர்க் அவுட் பண்ணி உங்களுக்கு அதை ஆல்ரெடி யூடியூப்ல அது பிளேலிஸ்டாக இருக்குது, அந்த டிஸ்கிரிப்ஷனில் கொடுத்துருப்போம். ஸோ யூ கேன் வாட்ச் தட் லேட்டர். ஓகே, ஃபார் ஆல் தி எக்ஸசைஸ் already we did the sums. Okay, many sums we worked out. So if you want to learn more questions, you can watch that videos. Okay, so for coplanar, because now I don't want to take much time. So now the next what you'd study is scalar product, product of two vectors. So here we have scalar product and vector product. Scalar product I'm going to explain all the results. So that's the more important, right? The concept fulla tharavaakanum. Sample few sums I'll teach you. Okay, if you want to work out more sums, you can watch our other videos. Okay, scalar product, A vector, B vector. ரெண்டு வெக்டரை கொடுத்துட்டு மல்டிப்ளை பண்ண சொல்லும்போது you can't simply write A vector, B vector ன்னு எழுதுனீங்கன்னா it's meaningless. In between you have to use dot or cross. ரெண்டுமே different. Okay, dot product or scalar product. Why we use the name dot product and the dot and the symbol use பண்றோம்ல, அதனால dot product. Another name is scalar product. Why you know அதோட final answer ஒரு ஸ்கேலாரா இருக்கும். So we call it as what? Scalar product. இப்போ இதில் உள்ள results மட்டும் பார்ப்போம். Then we do few sums. Then cross product I'll teach you one or two sums and we stop. Okay, maximum another 15 to 20 minutes. Okay, please listen. First நீங்க படிக்க வேண்டியது dot product ஓட definition. Okay, dot product ஓட definition. And here Jesse asked determinant expansion. So yesterday's class I think you would have missed, right? Yesterday matrices and determinants I explained. So there I explained how to expand a determinant, right? So to coplanar you write it as a determinant, then you expand it. All of you know how to expand it. If not, please watch the previous video. Okay, listen. scalar product or dot product. First நீங்க படிக்க வேண்டியது a dot b definition. ab cos theta. a dot b equal to what? ab cos theta. அல்ல a and b are magnitudes of a vector and b vector, and thetaங்கிறது angle between a vector and b vector. angle எப்பவுமே anti clockwise directionல தான் measure பண்ணணும். Okay? அப்ப angle between a and b theta னா angle between b and a கேட்டா இந்த other directionல வருதுல, in that case we say it is minus theta. Okay, angle between a and b theta, angle between b and a is what? Minus theta. So then you have to remember this dot product is commutative. A dot b and b dot a both are same. Then அதோட geometrical meaning a dot b ங்கிறது modulus a into projection of b on a. அதோட most important these two definitions. Projection of a vector on b vector, a dot b by modulus b vector. Projection of b vector on a vector, a dot b by modulus. இது எப்படி ஞாபகத்தில் வைக்கிறது? Projection of a on b or projection of b on a ரெண்டுக்குமே numerator same தான். What's the numerator? a dot b. Denominatorல modulus of the second vector அப்படி ஞாபகம் வச்சுக்கோ. அப்போ projection of a on b, projection of b on b ரெண்டுக்குமே numerator என்னது? a dot b. Denominator is modulus of the second vector. Here the second vector is b vector, so modulus of b. Here a vector, modulus of a vector. Okay? See, then if two vectors are perpendicular, rendu vector perpendicular, dot product 0. Why you know the reason? Rendu vector perpendicular na, you know a dot b is equal to என்ன formula? ab cos theta. Perpendicular na theta is what? 90 degree. Cos 90 is 0. So totally the answer is what? 0. If two vectors are perpendicular, dot product is 0. a dot a ங்கிறது a square. a dot a is a square. Simple proof. ஒரு a definition தான். a dot b equal to ab cos theta, right? ab cos theta. அப்போ a dot a கேட்டா என்ன எழுதுவீங்க? a into அடுத்தது a தான். cos angle between a and a is 0. cos 0 is 1, right? So a into 1, so that's your answer is a square. I dot a is 1 because I க்கு magnitude 1. I is a unit vector. I dot I, j dot j, k dot k, everything 1. But I dot j 0 ஆயிரும் because they are perpendicular to each other, right? I ங்கிறது unit vector along x axis, j is unit vector along y axis. அப்போ இதெல்லாம் ஞாபகத்தில் வைங்க. All these notes will be given to you. Only thing யாராவது லேட்டாக ஜாயின் பண்ணியிருந்தீங்கன்னா again I'm telling you, you join the Telegram group, you will be getting the handwritten notes, okay? It will be sent to you. Then these results you remember, ordinary நம்ம identities படிக்கிறோம்ல algebraல, அதுதான். a vector plus b vector the whole square is a plus b the whole square, a square plus b square plus 2ab. 2ab னு எழுதக்கூடாது, என்ன எழுதணும்? a dot b. Okay, like this all these results, this எல்லாம் ரொம்ப இம்பார்ட்டன்ட் ஆனது. அதில் some values they give, they'll ask you to find the other values, and this is another very important relation. This is a relation connecting modulus a plus b, modulus a minus b, modulus a, modulus b. இந்த 4ல அவங்க ஏதாவது 3 values they give, they'll ask you to find the other one. Okay, so just take it all these as results. Now how to find dot product? ரெண்டு வெக்டர் கொடுக்குறாங்க, டெஃபினிஷன் படித்தோம். a dot b ங்கிறது ab cos theta. பட் ijkல கொடுக்கும்போது we cannot use that, right? So a vector b vector கொடுத்துட்டாங்கன்னா a dot b ங்கிறது just you multiply the coefficients. I coefficient you multiply a1 b1 plus j coefficients a2 b2 plus a3 b3. Hope you know the reason. இப்போ ஃபர்ஸ்ட் வெக்டர் எடுத்தீங்கன்னா you have to multiply all the three you have to multiply. ஃபர்ஸ்ட்ல i dot i வரும், that is 1. அதனால தான் a1 b1 into 1. செகண்ட் அடுத்தது i dot j வரும், it becomes 0. அடுத்தது i dot k, அதுவும் 0. அதனால தான் அந்த டேர்ம் எல்லாம் எழுதல. when you multiply by j dot i 0, j dot j தான் 1 வரும்ல, that's the reason a2 b2. j dot k will be 0. Similarly for k also. This formula you remember, angle between two vectors. Even in 12th standard we need all these. Angle between two vectors, theta equal to cos inverse a dot b by modulus a into modulus b. Okay, so this is the angle between two vectors. Application of dot product in physics. Physics la dot product use ஆகுது. Using dot product you can find work done. Work done என்ன formula physics la படிப்பீங்க? F into S, right? Yes, here it is F dot d vector. F is the force. D vector is the displacement, right? More than one force கொடுத்தாங்கன்னா you find the resultant. எல்லாத்தையும் ஆட் பண்ணி எடுதுங்க. three vectors கொடுத்தாங்கன்னா you name them as f1 vector, f2 vector, f3 vector. F vectorங்கிறது you add everything, f1 plus f2 plus f3. D vectorங்கிறது displacement. When you apply a force, suppose this is the initial point, when you apply a force, it displaces from A to another point B. This AB vector தான் we call it as what? D vector. அப்போ D vectorங்கிறது AB vector. What is AB vector? OB vector minus OA vector. How can you identify A and B? A is the initial point and B is the final point. Okay, right. So now you try few questions using this one. Look at the first one. Find A dot B, right? A vector, B vector given. Find A dot B. Very simple question, right? A dot B. You just multiply the coefficients. Coefficients are multiply. Order check panniyanum. The previous question is no. I at the K கொடுத்திருந்தாங்க. You have to be very careful. So here I, J, K, yes, I, J, K. Probably when you write the examination, there won't be much problem because you copy from the question. Question paper ல இருந்து எடுத்து copy பண்ணும்போது ரொம்ப careful check பண்ணிருங்க. Okay. So I coefficients you multiply 2 into 6 it is 12. Then 2 into minus 3 minus 6. Minus 1 into 2 minus 2. So 12 minus 8. Your answer is what? 4, right? Very simple question. Look at this one. Find the value of lambda for which A vector and B vector are perpendicular. இதுக்கு முன்னாடி ஒரு சமயத்துல parallel பார்த்தோம். Parallel என்ன condition apply பண்ணோம்? The coefficients are proportional. Hope you are remembering, right? Here perpendicular கொடுத்திருக்காங்க. Perpendicular என்ன condition? Dot product equal to 0. So dot product equal to 0. So since the vectors are perpendicular, A dot B equal to 0. I coefficients you multiply 2 into 3, 6. J coefficient 4 into minus 2, minus 8. K coefficient minus 1 into lambda minus lambda equal to 0. Take minus lambda to the other side, plus lambda. 6 minus 8 is minus 2, so lambda value minus 2. Look at this question. Find the angle between them. Very simple thing. Only thing you must know the formula. So first one is, I am taking the first vector as A vector, I vector minus J vector, and B vector is J vector minus K vector, right? Angle between two vectors, the formula theta equal to cos inverse A dot B by modulus A into modulus B. So you know how to take dot product, how to take modulus. A dot B, coefficients multiply பண்ண it very careful. First la I vector is there, second la is not there, 0. J coefficient minus 1 into 1, so minus 1. K coefficient 0 ஆயிரும், 0 into minus 1. By modulus A vector root of 1 square plus minus 1 square. Modulus B 1 square plus minus 1 square. So you are getting cos inverse of minus 1 by root 2 into root 2, it is what? 2. Cos inverse minus 1 by 2 is 120 degree. It is 2 pi by 3. Pi by 3 is 60. 60 into 2 is 120. You cos 120. Trigonometry la padichirupinga. Cos. So how can you find this one? Cos 120 ingiradhu. You can write cos 90 into 1 plus 30, right? 90 into 1. 90 into 1 plus 30 will come to the second quadrant. Second quadrant la sign tham positive, so cos is negative. Now 90 into 1 odd number vandana co-ratio eludana, cos co-ratio sin 30, so this is minus 1 by 2. So cos 120 ku value minus 1 by 2. Appo cos inverse minus 1 by 2 varumbodhu enna eludana 120 degree, and the 120 da we write it as what? 2 pi by 3. Look another question. Look at this one. Find lambda. Already we did one some condition perpendicular. But now find lambda. The projection of A vector on B vector is 4. What is given here? Projection of A vector on B vector is equal to 4. Just now we studied the formula, right? Projection of A vector on B vector. What's the formula? A dot B by modulus of second vector. Like that you remember, so that you won't make mistake. Equal to 4. A dot B கண்டுபிடிங்க இதுல. A dot B na coefficients multiply 2 into lambda, 2 lambda, 6 into 1 plus 6, 3 4s are 12 divided by modulus of B vector, 2 square, 6 square, 3 square equal to 4. Numerator is simplified, 2 lambda plus 18 equal to, in your denominator you are getting 49, 7 4s are 28. So 2 lambda is equal to 28 minus 18, 10. So you are getting lambda is equal to what? 5. Okay. So that's about scalar product. Another product is there. That is what? Vector product. Okay. See, vector product of two vectors. இது அப்படியே நீங்கள் கம்பேர் பண்ணி படிக்கணும். ஸ்கேலார் ப்ராடக்டில் ஏ டாட் பி, வாட்ஸ் அ ஃபார்முலா? ஏபி காஸ் தீட்டா. வெக்டர் ப்ராடக்ட்டுக்கு ஏபி சைன் தீட்டா என் கேப். நேம் இட் செல்ஃப் வெக்டர் ப்ராடக்ட். ஆன்சர் இஸ் அ வெக்டர், ரைட்? என் கேப். A and B are magnitudes. Theta is the angle between them. N cap, and the cap symbol vandale, you know it is a unit vector. N cap is unit vector. Direction important, perpendicular to both A vector and B vector. N cap is it is a unit vector perpendicular to both A vector and B vector. Dot product commutative padisonla. Here cross product is anti-commutative. Anti-commutative na reverse pannalam, you have to put a sign minus. Dot product commutative, A dot B, B dot A and the same. And a cross product, it is anti-commutative. A cross B is equal to minus of B cross A, right? Then modulus of A cross B na AB sin theta, that n cap is magnitude 1 because n cap is a unit vector. Idhiliyo angle between two vectors. Already we studied one formula. Theta equal to cos inverse A dot B by modulus A into modulus B. Here another formula, sin inverse modulus A cross B by modulus A into modulus B. So that formula is easy to calculate, but sometimes question la specify பண்ணிடுவாங்க. என்ன சொல்லுவாங்க? Using cross product. Find the angle between two vectors using cross product. Then you must use this formula, right? Innonu sometimes modulus A cross B answer கொடுத்துட்டு find the angle கொடுப்பாங்க. Then you have to use only this formula, right? Then n cap கண்டுபிடிக்கிறது formula, unit vector. What is n cap? Unit vector perpendicular to A vector and B vector. A cross B by modulus A cross B. Unit vectors ன்னு கேட்டாங்கன்னா same formula கூட என்ன போடுங்க, ஒரு plus or minus, okay? Then the direction of A cross B is n cap direction perpendicular to A vector and B vector. A cross A value 0 vector. Anga A dot A square. Here A cross A 0 nu eduthukoda, 0 vector because it is vector product, right? I cross I 0, J cross J, everything 0. Okay. Then I cross J. So that you have to remember this one. Look at this diagram. I, J, K. In the cyclic la parunga. I cross J, I, J, K, I, J, K, that order. I cross J keta K. J cross K is I. K cross I is J. Reverse panni keta, you have to put a sign minus. Okay. For example, if J cross I cross K keta, you enna solnom? Minus J you have to say. Okay. Then using cross product, using dot product, you can find projection of A on B பார்த்தோம்ல, அதுபோல using cross product you can find area of a parallelogram. There are three different formula, depends on what they give. One, if they give the adjacent sides, A vector B vector adjacent sides, then area of the parallelogram is modulus A cross B. Area of a triangle get half, right? So area of a triangle, just half of that, right? So half into modulus A cross B. That is for area of a parallelogram, area of a triangle. Diagonals kudutangana. The first formula, if the adjacent sides are given. If the diagonals are given, D1 and D2, then area of the parallelogram is half into modulus D1 cross D2. A side and diagonal kudutha modulus A cross D. Appo area of the parallelogram ku three formula. One, if they give the adjacent sides, modulus A cross B. If the diagonals are given, half into modulus D1 cross D2. If a side and one diagonal, modulus A cross D. இதெல்லாமே என்ன கண்டுபிடிக்கிறது? To find area of a parallelogram. Triangle கேட்டா, you take half of that, okay? Now how to find A cross B? Dot product, you multiply the coefficients. A1 B1 plus A2 B2 plus A3 B3. But cross product, you write it as a determinant. First row you write I, J, K. Second row you write A coefficient. Third row you write what? B coefficient, okay? Then there is a relation between dot product, cross product, modulus A, modulus B. Okay, so the material relations alla padinga. When you go for any competitive exam, these are very useful. It will be very useful to you. Suppose the students those who are preparing for IIT JEE, this topic is one of the very important area. Okay, vector algebra, you can expect a lot of questions. Okay, so now that's all the theory part. Now in the last exercise, just I'm going to explain to you few sums. Okay, look at this. A vector given, B vector given, verify, listen very carefully this question, verify A vector and A cross B are perpendicular. What is the condition for perpendicular? Dot product equal to 0, right? Dot product 0. அப்போ எதெல்லாம் perpendicular? A vector and A cross B. A vector you know. A cross B we don't know. So you find A cross B first. A cross B, how can you find A cross B? Write it as a determinant. First row you write I, J, K. Second row A coefficient -3, 4, -7. Then B coefficient 6, 2, -3, right? Look at this, expand it, I vector into, leave the row and column, 4 into 3, -12, -14, plus 14. Second one you take minus J vector into, leave that row and column, 9, minus, plus, 6 7s are 42, right? Then finally plus K vector into, leave that row and column, -6, -24. So you are getting 2I minus 51J minus 30K. This is the value. Even if something common, don't divide it. Sometimes the students they do. Suppose 5 common 5 divide பண்ணிடுவாங்க. Don't do that. Because this is the value of A cross B. It is not an equation. Suppose equal to 0, அப்படி வந்தனா you can divide பண்ணலாம். So here you cannot change the sign. You should not divide. Suppose ஏதாவது காமனா இருந்தனா if you want you can take it out. Okay. This is A cross B. இப்போ நம்ம ப்ரூவ் பண்ண வேண்டியது A cross B and A vector are perpendicular. A vector ங்கிறது என்னது? -I plus 4J minus 7K. இப்போ இந்த ரெண்டும் perpendicular னு ப்ரூவ் பண்ணோம்னா you find the dot product of that two. A dot A cross B. A vector தெரியும், A cross B தெரியும். You find the dot product because dot product 0 வந்தனால we say that two vectors are what? Perpendicular, right? So multiply the coefficients. 2 into -3 it is -6. Minus into plus, minus 51 into 4, 204. அடுத்த minus into minus plus ஆயிரும். 30 into 7, 210, right? Minus 210 plus 210 equal to 0. So you can say A vector and A cross B are what? Perpendicular. Okay, hope you understood this one. Now, based on this, just I am going to give another 1 or 2 questions. Look at this question. A, B, C, one theory sum. Okay, already numerical sums you can do very easily. So look at this question. If A vector, B vector, C vector are unit vectors, 3 unit vectors are given. This is one of the very important question. Suppose உங்கள் ஸ்கூலில் இந்த வெக்டர் ஆல்ஜிப்ராவில் ஒரு கொஸ்டின்ஸ் பேப்பர் செட் பண்ணாங்கன்னா இந்த கொஸ்டின் டெஃபினட்டாக இருக்கும். Another question, medians of a triangle are concurrent. Okay, like that there are some standard questions are there. Okay, if there is some school test, you prepare all those sums. Okay, so if you want to learn all the concepts for 12th standard. Okay, look at this one. A vector, B vector, C vectors are unit vectors. அப்படின்னா உங்களுக்கு என்ன தெரியும்? எல்லாத்துக்குமே magnitude 1. Modulus of A vector, modulus of B vector and modulus of C vector all 1, right? So A, B, C are unit vectors such that A dot B equal to A dot C. A dot B equal to A dot C equal to 0. See, what can you understand from here? A dot B 0, A dot C 0. Dot product 0 then என்ன சொல்லுவோம்? The vectors are perpendicular, right? அப்போ இதில் எதெல்லாம் perpendicular? A and B are perpendicular. A vector perpendicular to B vector and A dot C 0. A vector perpendicular to C vector. So together you can say A vector is perpendicular to B vector and C vector. A and B are perpendicular, A and C are perpendicular. That means A vector is perpendicular to both B vector and C vector. Okay. அடுத்து என்ன கொடுத்திருக்காங்க பாருங்க. Angle between B vector and C vector is pi by 3. Angle between B vector and C vector is pi by 3. Pi by 3 is 60 degree. Pi by 3. Okay, now please listen here. How can we mark A vector? A vector is perpendicular to B and C. அப்போ A vector direction இப்படி இருக்கும். Perpendicular to B and C. B and C க்கு perpendicular தான் B cross C இருக்கும். You know, A cross B க்கு direction என்னது? What is the direction of A cross B? Perpendicular to A and B. அப்போ B cross C direction perpendicular to B and C. Now please listen here. இந்த B and C இங்கே இருக்குல்ல, அந்த பேஸில் இருக்கு, ஒரு பிளேனில் இருக்குது. இந்த பிளேனுக்கு பர்பெண்டிகுலரான வெக்டர் தான் A vector and B plus C. A vector is perpendicular to the plane, B cross C is perpendicular to the plane. That means these two vectors are parallel. எதெல்லாம் parallel? A vector and B cross C are parallel. So you can say A vector is parallel to B cross C. Parallel na, they are collinear, right? Rendu vector collinear na enna condition? One vector is a scalar multiple of another one. So you can say A vector is some scalar into B cross C. One vector is some scalar. இங்க ஒரு scalar எழுதணும். என்ன scalar எழுதலாம்? Usually k ன்னு எழுதுவோம். இங்க என்ன ஆன்சர் வேணும் பாருங்க? Plus or minus something. So I am taking the scalar as say plus or minus k. So this is our answer. If only thing and the k value கண்டுபிடிச்சிட்டோம்னா it's over, right? And the k value கண்டுபிடிக்கிறதுக்கு listen very carefully, just two more lines. Taking magnitude or taking modulus on both sides. Left side la modulus எடுத்தா என்ன வரும்? A vector ka modulus, A vector is a unit vector. அப்போ modulus எடுத்தீங்கன்னா அது 1 ன்னு வரும். When you take modulus plus or minus எல்லாம் plus ஆயிரும். So k into B cross C, BC sine angle between them, right? B ka magnitude 1, C ka magnitude 1 because A, B, C எல்லாமே unit vector தான். A cross B na AB sin theta n cap, right? So அப்போ B cross C na BC 1 into sine angle between B and C is pi by 3. It's given in the question into n cap எழுத வேண்டாம் because we are taking magnitude. And the unit vector magnitude 1 வரும். So 1 equal to k into sine pi by 3, sine 60 root 3 by 2, right? So now we want k value, the 2 goes up and root 3 comes down, 2 by root 3. அதை கொண்டு போய் equation 1ல substitute பண்ணுங்க. When you substitute it in the first equation, you are getting A vector is equal to plus or minus k. Instead of k, what you write? 2 by root 3 into B cross C. இந்த இருக்கிறதே இந்த ஒரு கொஸ்டின் தான் ஸ்டூடெண்ட்ஸ் they find little difficult. இது கூட difficult கிடையாது. Just you read line by line, try to understand என்ன கொடுத்துருக்காங்கன்னு பாருங்க. அந்த டைரக்ஷன்ஸ் கரெக்டாக தெரியணும். A cross B க்கு டைரக்ஷன் எப்படி இருக்கும்? Perpendicular to A and B. N கேப்புக்கு டைரக்ஷன் தான். ஓகே. So with this idea I am sure you can do all the questions. Okay. So very small topic, but இதோட continuation you have in 12th standard. Okay. That's the reason we are selecting topics like that. இனி உங்களுக்கு நான் நடத்தக்கூடியது அடுத்து இனி வேண்டிய டாபிக், இப்போ மேட்ரிக்ஸ் பார்த்துட்டோம், வெக்டர் பார்த்துட்டோம். அடுத்து உங்களுக்கு வேண்டிய டிஃபரன்சியேஷன். ஓகே, ஐ வில் பி டேக்கிங் 1 day for that. In one shot we take differentiation. What are the differentiations you need for 12th standard? I will help you in one class differentiation, then another class will take integration, then some probability, some combination, only that things you need. Okay, so next class we are going to study determinants. That date will be informed to you. So subscribe our channel, you'll get the notification. Till then, goodbye.